How do you know when the end is nigh? For these stars and celebrities, it was clear as day, and it all came down to a single shocking moment. Gwyneth Paltrow began to uncouple from her husband, Coldplay singer Chris Martin, while on a birthday vacation in central Italy. Although the then 38-year-old Paltrow couldn't place the exact time it happened, at some point on the trip she decided that it was time to call it a day on their marriage. In a write-up published by Vogue, Paltrow wrote, "What I do remember is that it felt almost involuntary, like the ring of a bell that has sounded and cannot be undone, the inadvertent release of a helium balloon into the sky." 3 years later, Paltrow and Martin's separation was announced on the Goop website. They became formally divorced in 2016. In the years since, Paltrow married Glee co-creator Brad Falchuk, while Martin began a long-term relationship with Dakota Johnson. Nevertheless, Paltrow and Martin still co-parent their 2 children, Moses and Apple. As Paltrow told Glamour, "Well, if you have children together, number 1 is a dedication to what's best for the kids. We put a lot of thought into how to do it so that the damage would be minimized." Singer Mary J. Blige and record producer Ken Do Isaac said "I do" at a low-key New Jersey ceremony in 2003. Then, after 13 years, Blige and Isaacs went their separate ways, reportedly citing irreconcilable differences as the cause of the split. There was no love lost between the couple either. Blige's 2017 BET Awards performance elicited an infuriated response from Isaacs, who partly wrote in a since-deleted post on Instagram, "I love you to death, Mary J. Blige. I can't even begin to understand why you are going about this the way you have been." Although Isaacs threatened a tell-all reveal, his side of the story largely remains unknown. Apparently, Blige's decision to end the marriage came because their regard for each other had withered.
The breaking point was when I kept asking over and over and over again for respect.
Since the couple had no prenuptial agreement in place when they initially said their vows, Blige, as the higher earner in the relationship, was ordered to pay spousal support to Isaacs. Long before Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial shook the showbiz world, the ex-lovers who first crossed paths on the set of 2011's The Rum Diary were quite smitten with each other. At the 2016 Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Depp told reporters, "She was in my head, so I tracked her down." Heard likened their romance to a fairy tale when she took the stand in 2022, adding that it had begun as a covert rendezvous initiated after the separation of Depp from his long-term partner Vanessa Paradis. Depp's fallout with Heard has played out in the full glare of the cameras over the last few years, but the moment he knew that they had to cut ties was apparently deeply personal. As Depp told the court, his mother, Betty Sue Palmer, passed away in 2016. Soon after, he made a phone call to inform Heard that he wanted a divorce. Asked to specify how his mother's death had opened his eyes, Depp explained that he had realized,
"Try your best to try. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work."
On Adele's television special, Adele One Night Only, the singer expressed that she had always felt a strong desire to start a family, since she never really had one growing up. Adele and her ex-husband, Simon Konecki, had their son Angelo in 2012, and around the same time walked down the aisle at a secret ceremony. It wasn't until the Hello Hitmaker's 2017 Grammy acceptance speech that the public got wind of her marital status. In April 2019, Adele's camp revealed that the pair was headed for divorce in a short statement to AP, which mentioned that their focus was on co-parenting amicably. In Adele's conversation with Oprah Winfrey, she explained that while she appeared to enjoy a perfect life on the outside, she was actually struggling. The option to walk away never came up at all, however, until she involved a number of confidants. During an interview with a magazine, Adele was asked to offer something nobody knew about her.
I just said it in front of 3 of my friends. I was like, I'm really not happy. I'm not living. I'm just plodding along.
In October 2006, the late cultural icon Whitney Houston put an end to her 14-year marriage to Bobby Brown. According to a source close to the couple at the time, Bobby and Houston endured a turbulent marriage full of altercations and fights. Houston's reason for divorce came to light when she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, when she admitted that the signs of Bobby's infidelity had become too difficult to ignore.
I was like, you don't smell right, you don't look right, something's going on.
On the flip side, Bobby claims he wanted to end things due to the impact that their drug use had on their late daughter, Bobby Christina Brown. In his 2016 memoir, Every Little Step, My Story, he acknowledged that it was nearly impossible for them to be clear-headed around their only child. Brown wrote, "How much quality time can you spend with your daughter when you're high all the time? I would get really mad at Whitney, scream and yell that I wanted a divorce. This went on for years and years. Our daughter saw it all. When I think about it now, I just feel enormous pain. We failed her." Kim Kardashian married former Atlanta Hawks power forward Kris Humphries for one key reason: she was afraid of turning 30 as a single girl. Safe to say that Keeping Up with the Kardashian stars strongly felt that they wouldn't be a match in the long term.
I think like a lot of girls do go through that where they freak out and thinking they're getting old and they have to figure it out and all their friends are having kids.
Kardashian admitted that she knew it wasn't going to work out by the time they got to their honeymoon.
You get off your phone and pay attention.
Still scream at you.
Go for it. I'll place you.
Shortly after Humphries and Kardashian became husband and wife in a grand August 2011 wedding, the latter filed for divorce. Their now infamous 72-day union took a heavy toll on Humphries, who'd only wanted to make a name for himself as a basketball player. In an essay published by the Players Tribune, he wrote, "When it was clear that it wasn't working, what can I say? It sucked. It's never easy to go through the embarrassment of something like that with your friends, with your family, but when it plays out so publicly in front of the world, it's a whole other level. It was brutal." Former How Do I Look host Jeannie Mai had a hunch that things weren't working out with Freddie Harteye early on in their marriage. Speaking to her fellow Real co-hosts in 2018, Mai said,
"I knew a year in, for sure.
Her admission begged the question, why did she stay for 9 more years?
But as a woman, and I'm proud of this trait that I have, I'm loyal as,
Right.
I really am. And when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
Try she did, until the wheels finally fell off and she moved on with rapper J. Wayne Jenkins, popularly known by his stage name Young Jeezy. The pair became Instagram official in September 2019. Mai and Jeezy tied the knot at their Atlanta home in March 2021 after canceling their destination wedding due to COVID-19 rules. Less than a year after they said "I do," the couple welcomed their baby, Monaco, whose birth Mai announced on Instagram with the caption, "I asked God for a life of love and happiness. He sent me my family. Baby Jenkins is here." In her memoir, actor Gabrielle Union revealed that the beginning of her 5-year marriage to ex-NFL running back Chris Howard also marked its end. Union had supposedly not paid attention to a number of issues, including an unpolished proposal, which was, in her words, the first of a list of many ignored red flags. She wrote, "I spent the whole day at the spa, and when I got back to Howard's house, there was a rose petal path from the front door to the bedroom. At the end was Chris down on one knee. He had a bucket of KFC on the floor, and he was eating KFC potato wedges with one hand while holding a ring in the other." Barely 24 hours had gone by before the couple was butting heads over Howard's infidelity. According to Union's account, published in Vice, a friend of Howard's accidentally ousted his involvement with a third party. Still, Union stayed put. More allegations of infidelity on both sides emerged soon after, however, and in 2005, the couple called it a day. The beginning of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship was quite a trip, as the couple explained on an episode of Red Table Talk.
I went to different world to meet Jada and met Cherie and ended up marrying Cherie.
Although he was still married to Cherie Zampino at the time, Will went on a night out with Jada and his friends. He soon began to feel doubts about his choice of partner. The chemistry he had with Jada was indisputable, but no boundaries were crossed. The next night, Smith and Cherie went to dinner.
I had a realization that I wasn't with the person I was supposed to be with.
Despite this troubling realization, Smith was apparently never the kind of person that pulls the plug. If anything, he would have kept it going for as long as it could last. Zampino was less tolerant of the cracks in their relationship, and she served him with divorce papers soon after. In 2004, Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony got married in a hush-hush ceremony conducted at Lopez's home. 7 years afterward, their separation was made public through a joint statement. The sad news came a couple of months after Lopez had been named the world's most beautiful woman and was flying high as a newly appointed American Idol judge. In her memoir, True Love, Lopez reflected on the moment she knew the relationship between her and Anthony had become irreparable. Lopez, who had been working a photo shoot in the desert, wrote, "I couldn't admit that this marriage was over, but in the end, the truth finds a way to surface even if you don't want it to. That day in the desert with my brain going wild trying to deny reality, I had finally hit rock bottom." By 2014, Lopez and Anthony had officially divorced. Mariah Carey and music mogul Tommy Mottola's first meeting was entirely professional. Mottola was pivotal in Carey's triumph as an artist, but when things got personal, he quickly became overly infatuated with her. In his memoir, Mottola asked for forgiveness for his behavior at the time, writing, "If it seemed like I was controlling, let me apologize again. Was I obsessive? Yes, but that was also part of the reason for her success." In her own autobiography, Carey revealed that the final straw came when Mottola flew into a rage because she and a friend had gone to lunch at Burger King. She wrote, "Tommy walked over and picked up the butter knife from the place setting in front of me. He pressed the flat side of it against my right cheek. Every muscle in my face clenched. That was his last show with me as the captive audience at Sing Sing." If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.